Business Blueprint, simplifying your success.
See, everyone talks about leadership, and people have high expectations of their superiors. But as a professional, you should also be a good follower. And being a good follower doesn't mean being a suck-up. You know, being a good follower means understanding that your boss is not perfect and understanding that you have responsibilities and that you're part of a team and the organisation's got a goal and that you have to play a role in that. And so there's some rules for followship, and I'll just briefly talk over them. First of all, don't blame the boss. You know, if you're in an intermediate, and some of you you might be the boss of your business, some of you might be working in other people's businesses, but if you might want to teach your subordinates, your intermediate management, these principles. First of all, don't blame the boss. You know, it's really bad leadership to go to your troops and say, yeah, guys, I don't like this, but the boss is an idiot. You know, and people will do that, and you certainly don't want your people doing that and speaking about you. Don't use the boss's name in vain. I was taught you always do things on your own authority. So if someone says, if you get given direction or there's something you have to follow, you don't go down and say, hey, the boss said we have to do this. You say, this is what we're doing. Use initiative. Who would like employees that have initiative? Okay. Well, if you don't tell your employees that you expect them to use initiative, they won't. And what is initiative? To do what needs to be done without being told to do it. Accept responsibility. I think one of the keys to any success in any field is a complete acceptance of responsibility for what you have done and what's in your area of responsibility. I think a lot of people, I'll give you an example. This is what I was taught to do. If something went wrong in my command, what I was taught to do was, first of all, go and find all the facts, right? Do my homework, which is one of the points. Right? Deal in facts only, which is one of the other points. Don't worry about rumour. If someone says, oh, this happened, you go, well, do you know that's happened, or have you just heard someone else say that happened? You know, deal in facts. Go to the boss quickly, tell them the truth. But when you go to the boss, don't go to the boss with the problem. Go to the boss with the problem and the solution. So it goes something like this. You know, I was in command of 18 to 21-year-old young men who were in Darwin, where there was an overpopulation of men versus women. And so what do you think the net result is? They all get drunk, buy V8s and motorbikes and tear around and get up to mischief because there's not much else to do. But let's say, so I would have an incident that happened in my command, and one of my soldiers might have got really drunk and might have got in a fight. But it's not my fault he got drunk, right? But it is my responsibility because he's in my command and it was my thing. And there's a difference between fault and responsibility. And something may go wrong in your organisation, that may not be your fault, but you better understand that it's your responsibility, you know, to fix. Because at the end of the day, you're the boss, right? So I'd go to my boss and say, right, boss, I regret to inform you that last night this incident occurred. You know, Gunnar Bloggs got drunk, ran over, you know, a telegraph pole with his car, and da-da-da. But don't worry, it's all under control. I've already, you know, he's in the hospital, we've already got there, the car's been recovered, the report's been made, everything's under control, you've got nothing to worry about. Who wants an employee like that? You know, yeah, everyone wants an employee like that, but then you've got to set the example and be that person yourself if you're working for someone else. And you've got to talk to your employees about what you want from them. You know, if you want good followers, you've got to train them to be good followers. And it starts with that one line which says, you know, I don't want you to be suck-ups, but I want you to be professionals, and this is therefore what I expect. Keep the boss informed. You know, bad news doesn't get better with age. Don't bring problem solutions. And never forget the value of loyalty. I talk to my staff a lot about loyalty, and if you want to know how to grow a business, I think it's a really important conversation because one person can only, we call it span of command in the military, one person can only control about 5 to 8 people before they lose control. So you do need to have intermediate management. And if you're going to have intermediate management, those people are going to be leaders as well. You know? And if you want to retain staff, you've got to talk to them about the value of loyalty. So I think we live in an entitlement society, which is it's actually, you know, one of our negative points where people just think, well, what's in it for me, what's in it for me, you know? But I say to my staff, if you want me to promote you, if you want me to give you pay rises, if you want me to give you more responsibility, then you better be loyal to me. Because I'm not going to invest in somebody who I think might leave the business. I'm not going to invest in somebody who I hear is complaining, whinging, bitching and moaning about decisions that I've made without at least you having the courtesy of talking to me about it. And have that conversation with your staff about the value of loyalty. And it's very important you do that up front. And say to them, do not be surprised if you don't get promoted if you're down the tea room gobbing off about how crap this company is. You know, I want people who are part of the solution, not people who are just whinging and moaning. You know? All right, so there you go, rules of followship. You've got to take orders before you can give them.
Business Blueprint. To access more great content, visit businessblueprint.com.